Good day. Welcome to SO 104. Study Session 1. Basic Concepts in Economics. Introduction. It is necessary for students just coming across the subject, economics, for the first time to know the meaning and basic concepts that are involved in the study. We will therefore explore the meaning of economics and basic concepts in its definition. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to define and use correctly the following terms: A. Economics. B. Want. C. Scarcity. D. Scale of preference. E. Opportunity cost. Definition of economics. It is difficult to agree upon a satisfactory, concise definition of economics, through its subject matter is generally beyond dispute. Economics is a social science such as sociology, history, geography, political science, psychology, etc. Economics is concerned with the aspect of human behavior, the act of choosing between alternatives in order to maximize satisfaction from limited resources. Because our wants are too many and cannot all be satisfied at the same time, choice has to be made. Therefore, economics is a science of scarcity and choice. Classical economists defined economics as the science of production and accumulation of material wealth. Their emphasis is on the production of material goods that possess utility. The physiocrats regarded economics as only those activities that were directed to the production of tangible economic goods from the land. That is, only agricultural pursuits were productive, while services were regarded as unproductive activities. Modern economists now define economic activity as any activity which produces goods required to satisfy human wants. The goods may be tangible or intangible. The most generally used definition of economics is that of Lord Robbins, 1935. According to him, economics is the social science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Economics is a science in the sense that it seeks to formulate a systematized body of laws which regulate human economic behavior under similar circumstances. These laws have a rational basis which is found to be consistent among all human beings under similar economic circumstances. O'Brien, 1977. Basic concepts in the definition of economics. Wants. Wants refer to both tangible and intangible goods and services that are desired for consumption. They are desired for their own ends, that is, they are things one would like to have. Therefore, they are sometimes referred to as ends. Scarcity. Scarcity is central to all economic problems. Human wants are numerous, but means of satisfying them are limited relative to the wants. Hence, there is the need to economize these resources and choose between the competing alternatives. It should be noted that in economics, Scarcity does not mean not available. Rather, it means the quantity available is not large enough to satisfy all the necessary wants. Choice. Since human wants are unlimited and the resources available to satisfy them are limited, choices have to be made between alternative wants. Therefore, choice is the distribution of our resources among numerous competing ends. Scale of preference. In order to achieve maximum satisfaction with limited resources, wants must be arranged in order of priority. Therefore, the scale of preference is an instrument that guides in making decisions by arranging our needs, wants, in order of priority. The topmost in the order of priority is the most pressing want that should be satisfied first. The scale of preference comes before choice, which leads us into opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. Due to scarcity of resources coupled with unlimited wants, choice has to be made between different alternatives. In order to choose, some wants have to be forgone to make the immediate choice. Therefore, opportunity cost is the alternative forgone in order to have the present choice. Opportunity cost is also known as real cost. It is the most important cost to economics. It is different from money cost or price cost. Let us look at a student in the university. A student wants to buy bag, shoes, shirts, books, etc., but is faced with the problem of limited resources, money. Let's say each of the above named items costs 2,000 naira, and the student has only 2,000 naira on him or her. He is faced with the problem of what to buy out of the items, though he would like to have them all if his resources, money, were enough. In the present circumstance, he would now have to arrange the items in order of descending priority, thus books, shirt, shoes, and bag. He would make the choice of buying the book first on the priority list, instead of shirt second on the priority list. To this student, the opportunity cost was the shirt he or she did not buy, while the money cost, real cost, was 2,000 naira. 2,000 naira expended to get the book. To a firm, to a manufacturing firm, the concept of opportunity cost helps in deciding the technique of production to be applied. For example, it will decide whether to use capital-intensive method or labor-intensive method for its production process. The employment of more labor means loss of large-scale production facilities that are embedded in capital-intensive method. To the government, the concept of opportunity cost helps the government to decide how to spend its revenue. The government decides whether to provide free education or build more hospitals. If the government opts for the provision of free education, there will be no more funds available for the building of more hospitals. If one is chosen, the other has to be forgone. Basic economic problems in society. Arising from the problem of scarcity, the question of what to produce out of limited resources is a matter of great concern to every society. This entails the setting up of a list of goods and services which a society thinks are beneficial to its people. Each country has to determine what type of goods or services its people need and how to produce this within its limited resources. Producers should produce those things which are required, otherwise resources will be wasted. How to produce. This is another basic problem or question which every society in the world has to solve or answer. Immediately, a society is able to determine what type of goods and services to produce with the available resources. The next thing is to determine how to produce such goods and services. Technical possibilities of production. This question of how to produce also involves the method of production to be used. It entails what quantities of land, labor, and capital should be combined to produce the required goods and services. Basically, there are two types of production methods. A. Capital-intensive method. The capital-intensive method of production is one that has a higher percentage of capital, machines, than labor. For instance, using 80% of capital and 20% of labor. Most of the developed countries of the world use this method. It is an automated system. B. Labor-intensive method. Labor-intensive method of production is one that uses a higher percentage of labor, human beings, than capital in the production of process. For instance, 80% of labor and 20% of capital. For whom to produce? This is the third basic problem or question which is to be asked by every society. Every society or nation has to determine for whom to produce goods and services. Specifically, here we are talking about the direction of demand, that is, who needs what. Efficient allocation resources. This is another problem. Every society has to ensure that the available resources within that society are put into maximum and efficient usage. There is the need to determine this so as not to engage the resources unprofitably. In essence, we are saying every society should ensure that whatever resources are available to it are not being wasted. If resources are efficiently allocated, there will be increase in production of all goods and services within the economy, and the people are, in the final analysis, better off. Income distribution. This is another problem facing every society, and this has both social and economic implications. The distribution of income within every society determines the level and the degree of poverty in it. Poverty, on the other hand, determines the living standard of the people. Thus, every society has to ensure that income is distributed. Take two. Every society has to ensure that income is distributed in such a way that majority of the people are above the poverty line. This means that there is need for government policies on the income distribution just to ensure that the gap between the rich and the poor is closed or bridged a little bit. It is very important to note that it is humanly impossible to eradicate the gap between the rich and the poor. We can only minimize or reduce the gap. Investments decision. The question here is whether there should be less consumption at present so that there will be higher investment in future. In other words, if less is consumed out of the present production, more will be available for investment, which will translate into increased productivity within the economy in the nearest future. Study session summary. In this study session, we have familiarized you with the meaning of economics and the basic concept deduced from the meaning. Also, you saw how the concepts are highly significant to individual, firm, and government within a given society. End of study session 1. Thank you for listening.